What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I'm gonna break down what's going on with NIO stock and what you should be watching for moving forward. I'm also going to talk about some big news that just came out for NIO that could help this thing absolutely explode, as NIO is on the verge of announcing a new smartphone. And this is going to be very, very bullish news for the long term of this company. So I'm going to break down what's going on with the technicals for NIO, Tesla SPY, and the QQQ, what's happening to the overall market, what you should be watching for, and what on earth I do predict to happen moving forward. Before I do anything like this, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so make sure you take none of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. The offer ends very soon, in just about 9 days, so check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. NIO was down 4.79% for the day, despite the fact that there wasn't really any negative news for the company. It was just due to pull back just a little bit. And we did see the market pull back a little bit as well. That caused this thing to slow down. If you look at how NIO looked compared to the market, I mean, NIO got this nice pump to start us off, right? We were holding up very nicely. We hit 16.18 in the morning. We started to slow down a little bit, and then we started selling off even harder as the market began to slow as a whole. But then the question that comes is, how on earth will NIO move going forward? What on earth should you be watching for when looking at the bigger trend? In my opinion, even though the chart does look like a pullback is still very possible, we still have some very, very bullish catalysts coming out that are going to help this thing moving forward. I'm going to break down what those are in just a few minutes. But first, let's talk about some earnings. Just as a reminder, we have Palantir, Chag, just a couple of others for tomorrow. We also have Berkshire Hathaway, which is going to be very important. They're very likely going to be doing well, in my opinion. But then for Tuesday, we have AMC stock, which is going to be a big one for lots of retail, UPS, and just a couple of others. And for Wednesday, we have like Disney and a few others as well. And overall, things are looking quite interesting. As far as our overall calendar goes, we have the Fed Bowman giving a speech very soon. That what he says is going to be important. Besides that, we have CPI coming out later on during the week. But for NIO in particular, we have some bullish news right over here. NIO's first smartphone, the NIO phone, is coming soon after passing a major milestone. And this is huge, huge, huge news in my opinion. Right over here, NIO is set to release its first smartphone known as the NIO phone in the third quarter of 2023. They basically ended up coming out with new designs and new information about how they're going to announce this and launch it very soon. They were exploring the possibility of this, and more research was coming out, which showed NIO was more interested in doing so. And you can see right over here, NIO ended up receiving its license to access the internet in China on July 10th. This was their first smartphone, which is once again making more and more developments. And you can see right over here, it's valid until July 10th, 2025. Now we're seeing right over here that the smartphone would be powered by Android with the 5G support, which is popular in China. And once again, very, very bullish news that has been coming out as they're continuing to improve their deliveries. What happens is their brand is going to become bigger and bigger over there. When their brand grows, more and more people are likely going to start buying their smartphones, buying their different devices. And I just think that this is a very, very good milestone for them. The branding of this company is spectacular, and this is going to help them bring in a lot more revenue. This could help them improve their earnings. And if this continues to grow, I mean, we could start seeing hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of sales every single few months for the company, if not every single month in the future. And I just consider it very, very bullish. Now, as far as the technicals go, we did see high volume, lots of high volume selling, which is very, very natural as we're starting to see NIO reject and retrace in a very healthy manner. The short volume is going up to about 65%, so a little bit more than before. And then going down right here, you could see nothing really changed in our data except the price-price ratio is holding up still despite the drop. But I do want to note that the overall short interest went up to about 23 million NIO shares being shorted. So more shorts are piling into NIO trying to smack it down. What do I think NIO is going to do moving forward? My answer to that is, with the smartphone news coming out, we might see NIO gap up in the morning, retest like 15.25 or so, then slow down again and trade very, very sideways. I'm predicting something like that for tomorrow, like a gap up, then a slowdown for now, because NIO is in a very healthy phase where it's continuing to pull back as the RSI is declining, and we're continuing to see a big reversal pattern that is developing on it. Now, if this continues, right, if we get like this bounce here, then it just continues, downtrending, we could be forming like an Elliott wave sequence for it to continue dropping. Part of why I think NIO could like gap up and drop is we might see SPY do something very similar, gap up and slow down as time goes on, because we're approaching this unfilled gap around this 442 area. So if I actually pull up the daily chart, you could see it a lot better on SPY. So right here, you can see there's this unfilled gap way down here in this 442 area, and it looks like it's going to go for this gap if we continue to break below our low. So I'm thinking we might gap up on SPY and start slowing down, and that may slow the whole market down. And then don't forget the QQQ has a tendency of following this trend. So we might see the QQQ make its way down to fill this gap at 368. Maybe gap up in the morning, then slow down even more. And I still think more downside is on the table. Tesla's going to be testing this 250 area, but don't forget that on the 15 minutes or the 30 minutes time frame, Tesla has this channel that's been stuck in, going back and forth and back and forth. You see it right here. We will see if Tesla continues to downtrend like this. We might see Tesla gap up and then slow down as time goes on. We're going to be watching that test of 250 very soon. If Tesla ends up rejecting there, more downside could come. If 250 fails on Tesla, it's going to come sinking down. And the chart does look more bearish as we do have that unfilled gap all the way down to the 230s. I think the odds greatly favor Tesla filling that gap in the future. It may take a few weeks, but it's very probable. Last but not least, for NIO, I am projecting that NIO is going to gap up. 5.25 should be retested, if not a little bit higher than that. Then we might see NIO come down. We could get like a retest of where this like previous support used to be, which is going to become resistance around this 5.25 to 5.3 area. I think it's very likely that NIO is going to test this area, then continue downtrending a little bit more, and that's completely healthy. Now, we have this bearish divergence on the 30 minutes time frame as well, from kind of like a double top-like pattern, whereas this divergence was developing, and now it's starting to play out as we could see NIO continue to downtrend just a little bit in a very, very healthy manner. Now, even if it does downtrend, we have bullish catalysts coming out, such as the new phone and other factors like that, which could help NIO bounce very nicely in the future. Also, don't forget that I'm very bullish on NIO moving forward, as we have more deliveries coming out for September. We have other catalysts, but for the short term, yes, we could see some more downside in the markets, which may act as a anchor for NIO, dragging it down a little bit, just like how it happened on Friday. And then even if that happens, I'm still expecting a very, very nice pop for Q4. I think once we get into Q4, things are going to improve substantially for the markets. I think we're due for a healthy pullback, and that's likely going to continue for now before we see another very, very nice pop to the upside, a very, very bullish looking move. I think that's very possible approaching the next couple of months. So for now, yes, the market may be slow, just like I said before, for the month of August going into September. But as we get to like October, November, I think the market's going to improve big time. We're going to see a very, very nice bounce. I will talk more about the broader markets in another video, but for now, that's what I'm seeing for NIO. I do anticipate a gap up, then some downside going into tomorrow. And make sure you watch your support moving forward. So it may gap up to like 5.25 to 5.3, then come all the way back down to retest our 30-minute 200 EMA at around this 14.5 area. And I think NIO is going to hold around there for tomorrow. That's my prediction. Have a great day, everyone. NIO to the moon, as the long term is still very bright, and peace out.